Okay, Judy, we are working on a couple of new riffs today, and I want you to the main goal is to be able to find the octave, that main root, on the fourth string. So just like you've been doing, you think of it as being, if we're on G, first finger's on the root G, then you go up 2 strings, up 2 frets, and you can actually find that G an octave above. But I want you to find that without doing this exercise. Okay, so if you need to do it for a little while, that's cool, but eventually be able to just go, bam, there's that root right there. There's G. Okay, and so the riff we're going to add today is the same riff we did on down here on riff 1. Okay, where we went 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, and 3, 4. But we're going to do it on the octave above, right here on this G. That'll be riff 1-8 because it's riff 1 up an octave. You're playing on the 4th string. Okay? So the numbers on there are going to look a little funny because of them being up so high on the string, but hopefully you'll get used to it and you won't really need the actual tab itself. Okay, so that's riff 1-8. Now, on your page I also added riff 3-8 because riff 3 up an octave can also be played in this kind of way as well. So riff 3, by the way, was root, flat 7, root. And because you can play it there just like this, you can also play it up an octave on this G. Alright, so that will be, we're going to use those riffs to go through example 1. I called it example with octave root. Okay, so you're going to basically be playing riff 1-8 and riff 3-8, and it'll look something like this. Okay, and then you play that along with the jam track. Let's actually pause this for a second and let me get the jam track and let you hear what this is going to sound like. Okay, so here we are. We can actually add the blues track. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Now, one thing I want to add to that is that I didn't tell you, but we were actually playing the number 1 riff over the 5 and the 4. So that's what you would do, just like we did last time. So the main thing is you're playing the riff number 1-8 and riff number 3-8. You're playing it up an octave, and you're playing that through the 1 chord. And the tricky part of that is going to be going from the 1 chord to the 4 chord. You're not necessarily used to that right now. But when you go to that 4 chord, it's just like you did before. It's just riff number 1 over the 4 chord. Okay? You should get the hang of that after a little while. I would maybe limit yourself to just playing with riff number 1 over the 5 and the 4 chord initially, and then start messing around and maybe adding the other riff 2 or riff 3 on the 5 and the 4 chord if you want. But maybe for the sake of this lesson, do it just the way I just did. Okay, that is going to do it for that part. The next thing I wanted to focus on was riffs that sort of go above and below that root G on the 4th string. Okay, so remember we said that think of notes as a continuum, not so much from one root to another root, but just all along this you've got all kinds of roots. So if you know that, you can play melodies that go on either side of the root, and it's a really strong relationship. So what we're going to start adding is riff number 4, which will be at the bottom of your page that I'm going to send you on the PDF. And you're going to play, the rhythm is 1 and 2 and 3, 4, but you'd start on the riff G, go up to the minor 3rd above, which is your B flat on the 3rd string, and then back down to your root G. Okay? Then your first finger goes down to the flat 7, and then back up to the G. So that'll be 1 and 2 and 3, 4. it's riff number 4. One more time. I'm playing with a little bit of a swing, but if 1 and 2 and 3, 4 would be the really straight rhythm on that one. That's riff number 4. Okay? Riff number 5 is similar, but when we're going to go up again from the root G up to the B flat, back down to the G, and then I'm going to have you walk down. If you notice, between the root G and the flat 7, there's 1 fret here, okay? And just whenever we play in a position, we know to play that fret right now, we're going to play with our second finger, okay? That note is your leading tone back up to G, okay? We flattened it to get that flat 7. We're going to walk through it, because anytime you can play a chromatic sort of walk down, it just sounds really, really good. It sounds like you've got a really good understanding of what you're playing too. So, and the way you'd play that is your third finger would play the G, second finger would end up playing the F sharp, first finger would play the F. Okay? Alright, but remember in the beginning of the riff we're actually going G, B flat, G, F sharp, F. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay? That's riff number 5. If we put those two together like I have in here, riffs beginning on 4th string root. Okay, your 4th string root. And we're going to play riff number 4. And then we're going to go right into riff number 5. Sounds good. It's really cool actually. Alright, here we go again. That will be riff number 4 and riff number 5 on the 1 chord. Now, what will also be tricky on this one, just like it was an example before, you're going to have to go to the 4 chord when the 4 chord comes around, and it may feel funny. So for a couple of days at least, this may be something you want to focus on. Going from the 1, now you're going to shoot over to the 4 chord. Alright, and then you go back to the 1 chord. Alright, now I'm saying you can do either the 4 or the 5, riff number 4 or riff number 5 on the 5 and 4 chord. Okay, so if we choose the riff number 4 for this one, we go to the old 5 chord and then the 4 chord. And then go back to the old riff number 4, riff number 5. Alright, so let's do that in G blues. Give me a second here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go 4 chord. Cool, I like that.